Good evening. I'm Mr. Quinn, and I'm the engineering technology teacher here at Suffern High School, and I'm here to talk to you about an elective known as Drawing and Design for Production. One of the things that students do in this particular class is every once in a while we'll do an instant challenge. In this particular one, it's called the paper tower. The students have a limited number of materials they can use. They can use a sheet of paper and tape, and they have to go ahead and build a paper tower as tall as they possibly can. So here are some examples of one. So they get to use some of their creativity and some of their design skills in order to solve a potential fun problem. One of my favorite units in the class is reverse engineering, where students use a device called a caliper. We see at the bottom left here, and they get to take apart objects such as this automobile box car at the top, or this coffee maker at the top left. And then you can see at the bottom right, students use a computer-aided design or CAD software to go ahead and recreate the actual toy car. One of the projects that students have done in the past to learn the design process is a puzzle cube, where students have to brainstorm ideas for a puzzle cube. They have to actually build one out of wooden blocks, and then they would go ahead and use computer-aided design or CAD software to actually create it. A project that we started this year to introduce the design process is something called an automaton, where students have to design their own cams. You'll see some images of cams in the center, and then they design their own automaton, so that if you were to go ahead and spin the rod in the side, you'd see the objects move up and down, or maybe spin around in circles as well. And students are encouraged to use their own creativity. You see some students are interested in baseball, some are interested in Mickey Mouse, and then other students interested in marine mammals. As I mentioned, one of the things that students learn is they learn computer-aided design, and this at the bottom left is an example of a trammel toy that we just started this year. It's a new project, and at the top right, this is an example of a computer-aided design for the actual automaton. All the students make their own CAD design of the automaton. Another instant challenge that we've done is a cable car, where students have to go ahead and, using limited materials, which as you can see include a balloon, have to go ahead and build a cable car that goes the longest distance possible. And it's a fun one-period activity, but definitely teaches the design process, keeps the class interesting. During lockdown, when some students were at home on electronics much of the day, I came up with a project where students had to come up with their own lawn game using whatever materials they happen to have at home, because it wasn't possible to get out to the store to go ahead and go shopping. So this particular student designed a huge life-size board game where you'd roll a die, and then you'd have to move forward. And then if you landed on a certain spot, then you'd end up with cards that would give you interesting things to do. So every student had to make their own lawn game. So instead of spending a lot of their time on screen time, they got to go ahead and use their design expertise and what they learned about the design process to do something fun that was outside at home and involved some of their family members. The group that develops the curriculum for the Drawing and Design for Production is an organization called Project Lead the Way. They are a recognized engineering program nationwide. It's a challenging, hands-on, exciting program. This class is a full-year elective, and if students do well, they can earn college credit through the Rochester Institute of Technology out of Rochester, New York. If you have any questions, again, the class is called Drawing and Design for Production. If you have questions, you can contact Mr. Quinn, and my email is rquinn@sufferncentral.org. I hope to see your children next year in Drawing and Design for Production.